Hello and welcome. We're the team at Vendor Society, and we're sharing bite-sized vendor tips and ideas in our interview series. I'm Katy Luxem, the Senior Content Manager at Vendor Society and eCommerce Nurse, and I'm here with Vanessa Hester, our Catalog Executive. On today's episode, we're talking about the new item setup sheet and how to work with it in Vendor Central. We're specifically talking about how to avoid problems and fix common issues when they do occur. I love Vanessa's tips for keeping organized. We'll be going through 5 rapid questions about this subject with Vanessa, who deals with catalog and vendor support issues on Amazon every day. So welcome, Vanessa, and thank you for joining us.
Hello.
First question, it can be intimidating to upload an NIS when you've got a large catalog or lots of changes to enact. So what's your number one tip for dealing with a NIS in Vendor Central?
Right from the beginning, it's essential that you download the correct NIS template that is specific to your items. And this can be quite intimidating because Amazon don't actually give you just one template for just your items. They group a lot of different things into one template. But luckily, in the catalog section of Vendor Central, you can enter multiple ASINs at the same time and download just the one NIS sheet for all the items you want to edit. So as long as you've got the ASINs right, you should get the right templates.
Sounds like a good way to start off. As a catalog expert, you have to deal with accounts when problems occur frequently. What is the main thing that vendors mess up when you start working with vendor catalogs?
A lot of the times, once I get around to editing things in people's catalogs, I find that when they first added the items, they tend to add it in maybe the wrong categories and it sits in the wrong sections of the Amazon website, or maybe they've used the wrong vendor code the first time the item was added. So that just creates extra work down the line when you're trying to clean the catalog up. Once you assign these identities to your items, Amazon does not let you change it without you contacting them. So it is worth it to set it up right from the beginning.
Yeah, that sounds really important. Is there anything else basic that vendors can do to minimize problems from the first encounter with NIS sheets in Vendor?
Yeah, take your time. Don't get intimidated by the columns and columns and columns you will find when you first enter, open that sheet. You will find that most of the fields are irrelevant to your specific item. So just scroll through it, take your time, see what they're asking for, and anything that is irrelevant to your item, like if you don't need imageries or your item does not take batteries or, it's not made of specific materials, you can actually highlight all of those fields and hide them and take note of the fields on the NIS sheet that are marked as required. This is in red and the cells are in red. You need to fill in those fields for your submission later on to be accepted successfully.
I know at eCommerce Nurse and Vendor Society, a lot of catalog issues we've dealt with stem from brand registry and catalog ownership. I'm sure you've encountered this a ton. Can an NIS help solve any of these problems?
Unfortunately not. If you haven't already registered brand registry and catalog ownership for your items before you add or edit them, there's very little you can do about this with an NIS template. So the best practice is always to get all these issues sorted right at the beginning when registering your brand. Otherwise, you may find that you waste a lot of time filling in the NIS sheet, submitting it, checking the live site, just to be disappointed that your titles and descriptions are not going to take priority and be displayed on the live sites over someone else's account.
For sure. And if you have a large catalog, that can be really time consuming. For the last question, what is something that Vendor Society and our team at eCommerce Nurse can help vendors with when it comes to catalog issues or NIS sheets specifically?
We can help you with edits and all the new additions to a catalog by making sure we fill in your NIS sheet to a good standard. We quickly spot all the fields that will benefit your item in terms of sales and informing the customers to make the right choice to buy your product. We can help to set up new items correctly with the right imagery, SEO content, and keywords. Content at eCommerce Nurse is created with your target markets in mind because we know Amazon so well, and we also have the knowledge to resolve any problems that may arise after your listing has gone live.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us and giving us those basic tips on NIS.
Well, thanks. Anytime.
Thank you for listening to the Vendor Society interview series by eCommerce Nurse. We are a boutique agency specialising in account management, marketing and consulting for vendors and sellers on Amazon. For more interviews, roundtables, blogs and information about all our services, visit vendorsociety.com and ecommercenurse.com.